Okay, it is Sunday, the 20th of March, 2016. I'm in front of the Unitarian Church in Montreal, engaged in my spiritual practice of protesting against Unitarian Universalist injustices, abuses, and hypocrisy. And just probably going to finish it up soon, but some idiot just stole my picket sign that says Unitarian Universalist censor and suppress critics. Hilarious, don't you think? I mean, doesn't that just prove my point by stealing my picket sign that says Unitarian Universalist? I didn't see. I might have video evidence. That's one of the reasons I run this camera. But some moron stole my picket sign. Not for the first time, by the way. It's not the first time some idiot stole my picket sign. So this woman, actually who I spoke to, is the only woman, or actually the only member of the church, of the Unitarian Church in Montreal, who attended the criminal trial that I had to go through as a result of being falsely accused of disrupting the order and solemnity of church services. Back in December of 2000, as I related earlier, I was arrested for allegedly disrupting the order and solemnity of church services. Completely false accusation. You know, I cannot be seen from within the church when the services are in progress. I cannot be heard. No service is actually being disrupted as a result of my activities. But nonetheless, you know, I was arrested. But anyway, my point is that this woman that I just spoke to was the only member of the church who attended the trial as an ordinary public witness, you know, just as someone who came to see the trial. So this woman, she's been a member of the church for quite some time. I mean, and we're 2016 now. We're going back to 2000, 2001 to 2003. It was the length of the trial. So she's been a member for a good 15 years. And so when I saw her coming along, I thought, oh, what the heck, we'll say something about the stolen picket sign. And, you know, hopefully she'll say a thing or two inside, but you know, it's just, you know, literally insane what these Unitarian Universalists do. I mean, you know, if you're going to steal a picket sign, don't steal the one that says Unitarian Universalist censor and suppress critics. Hey John, guess what happened? Some idiot stole my picket sign that says Unitarian Universalist censor and suppress critics. Don't you think that's hilarious? I mean, don't you think that's kind of ironic? I've got a picket sign saying Unitarian Universalist censor and suppress critics, and some moronic Unitarian Universalist steals the picket signs.
That's an assumption. How do you know who stole it?
You're right.
I don't know.
No, you're right. I did not see exactly who stole it, but the prime suspect is a Unitarian Universalist member of the church. I'll be checking my video, John, to find out exactly who did steal it. Anyhow. Now that's interesting that John said it's assumption, because he didn't know that it was an assumption. You know, for all he knew, I could have actually seen the theft. You know, I could have witnessed it. So it's kind of interesting. You know, maybe he knows something I don't know. You know, maybe he was, maybe he knows exactly who stole the picket sign. Maybe somebody called him up and said, "Hey, you know, I got one of Robin's picket signs and he didn't even see me steal it." I mean, then John would know it was an assumption. I wonder how he knew it was an assumption. So, but it was, yeah, and I said it. I said, you know, in recounting this, I've said, I don't know exactly who stole the sign. There's a possibility it was a member of the public who's not a member of the church. There is that possibility, because like I said, I did not see who stole the picket sign. But, you know, all things considered, the number one suspect for stealing one of my picket signs is a Montreal Unitarian or other Unitarian Universalist. So, well, that's nice, parking in front of the fire hydrant. It's just temporary, it's just a taxi. The other car's closer. So people are showing up. So yeah, maybe I'll stick around a bit longer. I had thought of cutting it shorter, but since there's a bunch of people showing up, we will continue at least a few minutes longer. Yeah, let's see, I'm down to 1, 2, 3 picket signs. I guess I'm going to have to make some new ones. Yeah, I've been actually meaning to make some new ones. In fact, these are backups. I had a bunch of picket signs that disappeared. I will say that the most, prior to this theft, the most recent disappearance had nothing to do with the Unitarian Church of Montreal. To the best of my knowledge, I accidentally left the bag of picket signs at another protest that I attended after this one. Just completely forgot to retrieve it after the fact. And so as a result of that, I've been meaning to make new picket signs. So these, what were 4 are now 3 picket signs. Were actually older picket signs that I'd retired. It looks like I'm going to have to make a whole new batch of, 4 to half a dozen picket signs as a result of A, that earlier disappearance, and B, this most recent theft of a picket sign. So
You guys need some help? Oh, okay. But there's no point in being a community if we can't help, right? There's no point in being a community if we can't help.
But you can't even help yourselves. I wouldn't be protesting if you could help yourselves.
I haven't the faintest idea why you're still out here.
Well, I haven't the faintest idea why you don't have the faintest idea why I'm still out here, because the fourth principle of Unitarian Universalism calls for a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. So if you don't know why I'm out here, you're not practicing what you preach, sir. You are a Unitarian Universalist hypocrite like the rest of the people in that church. Thank you very much, sir. Oh, wonderful. Somebody stole one of my picket signs today. And you know what's most ironic? The picket sign they stole said Unitarian Universalist censor and suppress critics. Don't you find that just a little bit ironic? Yeah, so I guess it was worthwhile sticking around a little bit longer. Got a few interesting interactions. And yeah, this guy with the stave, the hippie looking guy, says, I don't even know why you're still here, kind of thing. He doesn't even know why I'm protesting. He's the guy, the Unitarian Universalists claim in their 7 principles to believe in a free and oh, here comes Mr. Mark Abley. It's always a good morning when I'm accused of blasphemy by batshit crazy atheist Unitarians.
I haven't seen you for a while.
I took a little bit of a break, but I've been here for a couple of weekends.
Have you?
I'll be here a lot longer if you guys don't pull your heads out of your ass soon and do what you need to do. But
enjoy yourself.
Oh, I always enjoy myself, Mark. I always enjoy myself. I mean, it's a unique honor and privilege to be accused of blasphemy by atheist Unitarians. It doesn't get better than that. So that's Mark Abley of the Gazette Words columnist. I don't know if he's an actual employee of the Gazette, but he certainly contributes a column to the Gazette. And he's known about this protest for years and years and years, and I've never seen Mark Abley do anything to try to resolve the issues. So he's just another Montreal Unitarian hypocrite who does not practice what Unitarian Universalism preaches. So anyhow, in fact, I've actually considered making a picket sign that says a church full of hypocrites kind of thing. Maybe I'll get around to doing that. But yes, the irony of somebody stealing a picket sign that protests against censorship and suppression is quite hilarious. I mean, it's just another act of censorship and suppression. Oops, a daisy, that wasn't good. Taxi driver opens the door just as a jogger's going by. I'm not even sure if he's supposed to be parked there. You know, I've been told I can't protest in a bus lane. Here we got a taxi parked in the bike lane, and he almost doored a jogger when he opened his door. Not brilliant. Not sure what the legality of parking your taxi in a bike lane is, but I suspect it's not illegal. So here's something where, you know, police actually have maybe legitimate reasons to give a ticket. That won't happen. There's no cops around. But it just sort of, it's just ironic how police threaten me with bullshit tickets that they really have no authority to give in an effort to shut down my protest. You know, meanwhile, a taxi can park in a bike lane right in front of church to let someone off. I mean, they could have just gone around the corner, could have parked in front of the fire hydrant and let that person off. At least they wouldn't be blocking the bus lane. I mean, well, it used to be a bus lane. That's a bit of a recollection there. It's actually now a bike lane. What used to be a bus stop zone is now a bike lane.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, yeah, I think we will wrap this up, though. Do have other things to do today. I'll just do a little time check. Let's see where we are. (10:27). Okay, well, maybe I'll give it another 15 minutes. A little earlier than I thought. Yeah, we'll keep going for another 15 minutes or so. But yeah, it's been an interesting morning with the theft of one of my picket signs. I mean, you know, I think, isn't there a commandment that says something about good morning? You know, thou shalt not steal. I thought there was a commandment that says something like that. There's also a commandment that says thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. And, you know, Unitarian Universalists have been bearing false witness against me for decades now. You know, my whole protest began as a result of Unitarian Universalists bearing false witness against me. But on top of that, you know, they've stolen my picket signs on several occasions, physically assaulted me, brought all kinds of false criminal charges against me, which again is bearing false witness. It's you know, one of the worst forms of bearing false witness is falsely accusing a person of a crime. And so on. I mean, you know, the hypocrisy is, you can just cut it with a knife. It's so thick. It's just pathetic, really. we shall continue walking back and forth. But yeah, I'm going to have to make a whole new set of picket signs after today. I mean, I was getting by with 4 picket signs, but having one stolen today, bringing it down to 3, it's just not good enough. In fact, I might just make I might make more rather than less picket signs. Put it that way, just to remind Unitarian Universalists that it's really not a good idea to try and steal my picket signs, because I'll just make more, and I might even make more than I had before, just to rub it in your face a little bit. I certainly have enough material to cover half a dozen picket signs. I could probably have 20 or 30 picket signs about various issues if I wanted to. I could invest in a well, I shouldn't say invest in a megaphone, because I did invest in a megaphone as a result of one SBVM cop telling me I couldn't have picket signs. I said, would you prefer that I invest in a megaphone? To which he said, oh, you can't have a megaphone either because it violates, sound bylaws or whatever, which again is bullshit, because there's lots of protests, including protests by the police, where people have very loud megaphones. Yeah, just bury your head in the sand, sir.
I'm not burying my head in my sand. I'm just wondering what the hell you're doing with your life.
Well, if you bothered to find out, you'd know.
I have bothered to find out. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense that Unitarian Universalists misuse blasphemy law to cover up pedophilia and rape, that's for sure. I agree 100%, sir. He's telling me that what I'm saying doesn't make sense. Well, it's funny, it makes sense to pretty much everyone other than Unitarian Universalists. Anyone other than Unitarian Universalists who I share the facts with, it makes perfect sense to. I spoke to a young man